Okay. I started when I was little, and it was through school. It's rare to have deaf children in performances, but I went to a mainstream school that had a support unit with a deaf teacher who used sign language. So here I learnt through drama, I guess a drama class. We did different lessons, did different things, and lots of the hearing kids really enjoyed watching my performances with BSL and being really expressive and physical. So when I was younger, I always got the main roles, and every year, like Christmas performances and other productions, I was always there. And then later, I went to a private deaf boarding school, which was oral. It was very interesting because I realised something I never thought of before. So growing up, I'd always achieved those main characters. And when I went for those parts in the deaf oral school, I didn't get them. And that was because I didn't speak. I used sign language. So that was an eye-opening experience. So did I achieve a lot there through my acting? No, not really. But what was interesting was I had a very encouraging teacher who always included me every year. I wasn't isolated, I wasn't left out, I was always included. Um, it wasn't really as a main part, it was always a physical role, a physical thing like a tree or something like that in the background. So always included, and the teacher was always really positive, always gave me great feedback. You've got great skill, you're a great physical actor, shame you can't speak, but and I would take that. It didn't knock my confidence, no, but the feedback was always very encouraging. So my co-performer is Sue McLean. She is herself a BSL interpreter, so she's got a wealth of cultural knowledge and expertise. Her passion is writing. She works in the theatre, she's an artist herself, so she's got the whole package. Me, I guess my expertise is the language, the linguistics, the culture, and I'm an artist myself, so we're a great fit, I think. We worked for 2 years in research and development, experimenting, brainstorming, playing with the ideas, style. So both Sue and I wanted the audience to be watching the play and thinking, who's the lead character here? Is it is it Nadia's story? No. Is it Sue's story? No. Is it somebody else's story? That's what we wanted to achieve. We like that idea of an audience constantly thinking, whose story is this? We're telling the story in parallel. We're playing with it and the delays throughout the hour, but really, it's really abstract. And some of the deaf or hearing audience members are sitting watching it the whole time thinking, whose story is it? And their minds are going all the time. Oh, we had a very low budget to do everything with. We only had a weekend as well. Finding venues and getting permission at the start was okay. So, but pre-production, wow, I learnt loads about the logistics. seemed to go well though. But again, we only had one weekend to film everything from Friday to Sunday. Luckily, I had a great team, actors, cameramen, lighting men. I was the director, so there were lots of discussions about my vision, what I wanted to achieve. I'd have to explain all of that. Unfortunately, I had a great interpreter, so fitting everybody together, deaf and hearing, I didn't want any conflict. So what was really important for me was reflecting deaf culture. That was the most important thing for me. So there were lots of discussions about that, and it seemed to go really smoothly. Then afterwards, filming had finished, so we went into post-production, so lots of editing. Oh my God, so hard, so many difficult decisions about what to keep, what to leave out. But really what I realised was that the vision I'd had at the start, I had to let go of and just work with what I had in front of me. How do I tell the story from this? Think about the audience, think about the sound. Luckily, I was working with a deaf-led company who were very visually oriented, so they looked at visuals before the sound. Sound was right at the end, and I'd never really thought about the sound because I wanted to see what it looked like first and foremost. I had a friend who had a great opportunity to learn about editing. So once we'd got everything ready, then the sound technicians came in and asked me, what sound do I want? So I talked about the emotional journey that the audience would be taken on through the film. Wasn't really interested in the dialogue. I wanted the emotion to come through. So they watched the film, took some notes, came up with something, put it on the film, asked me if it was okay, which obviously I couldn't really tell. But once we were all ready, we did a global launch. Oh, first it was on television, Film 4. Yes, so that's where we started. And the feedback, the response was incredible. Oh, it's your first film, it's a great story, the great production values, and loads of hearing people ask me about the sound, like, how did you do it? And I'd never really thought about it before, but I think for hearing people, they're drawn in through their ears. I think I really believe that to make the hearing audience watch and see the deaf culture, all the little deaf details in the film, the sound makes them watch. They're drawn in by their ears, so they miss nothing. If I think about the deaf world, or deafness as a group of people and disability as a group of people, I would say most of us, I say most, everybody's different, don't like the disabled label, don't feel that label, disabled. I don't feel disabled. I think there's a barrier, and that barrier is our disability between people who can talk and people who use sign language. So I think that barrier creates a disability in conversation, and I really think society needs to change. Society should change. So if I think about culture, yes, there's a difference between deaf culture and hearing culture, and it doesn't matter if you're disabled or what language you speak. It's cultural. So for example, in the theatre, in a dialogue, there's comedy, there's a joke, you're playing with language. That's the cultural aspect that as a deaf person I don't get. I don't laugh at that because it's a sense of humour thing, and in cultures it's very different. It's affected by culture. Deaf culture has its own sense of humour, and we're going to laugh at things that hearing people just don't get, and vice versa. So yes, there I see a difference, a big difference. For people who are disabled but who aren't deaf, they learn language in the same way, so you hear it from conversations, social interactions. You can still go to the theatre and access that language. Again, as a deaf person, I don't get it. I rely on a hearing interpreter to make a translation so that I understand it from a deaf cultural point of view. Some interpreters find it very difficult. It's not an easy thing to do at all. I guess it's like Sri Lankan culture and English culture. They're hugely different. They have their own comedy, their own humour, and getting an exact translation between those is very difficult. So I think translation is a barrier, a disability between cultures. But when it comes to accessing the arts, yes, I think deaf people and disabled people are in the same position, because the group who makes that theatre, that group, that community, I guess what's the word, the non-disabled group, they get on with it and they forget that we're here. They leave us behind. They forget that we're artists who have feelings and ideas and who can create art, and it doesn't matter if we're disabled or deaf. There is a barrier to that community. They need to change that to allow access for us. One thing I've seen that I really get annoyed with, though, is a theatrical production or a film production. It doesn't matter, we have a tick box approach to access. So they use us as a token. That tokenistic approach to access really makes me very angry. I believe that both the disabled and the deaf groups of people, they need to remember we have our own art. We're creative, we express things, we have a perspective, we have a vision that we could contribute to you as the non-disabled community. We have something to offer. So I think that's my hope for the future. It's time for that attitude to change. Society needs to change. They need to reflect that it doesn't matter if you're disabled or not disabled, deaf or not deaf. We're just artists. We're human artists, and we should be coming together to share our experiences. So, yeah, that's what we believe.
Nothing bad will happen here. Everything bad has already happened. This is the aftermath. The flip-flop washed up on the shore. The teddy bear in the wreckage. This is the aftermath. The second crop of grown grass after the first has been harvested.